Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the crunkiest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the queen, Demetra K. And I am the head shit starter, the 5-star general. Might as well start some shit then. Tarsha Jackson, where you live, baby? I heard you got, today they swore you in. Well, according to 5-star, if they swore you in, you swore in to resign. Because I ain't going to stop until I get you. Say, man, we finna talk about it tonight. Grab a seatbelt. This going to be good. Say, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. And without you guys, we would not have a show. So I appreciate you tuning in, as well as my co-host, because you're the best audience in this thing. And for all y'all out there that's running these podcasts, understand one thing. We started this podcast. We started this. Say, man, I'm gonna get you up on the news today. Man, them people say you're gonna get that 600 before Christmas. Man, I think some people, don't matter how much they sending them, they blessed to get it. But I think $600 is a slap in the face. You look at the amount of taxes that you pay every year, and that's a slap in the face. You need to be emailing on the phone with your elected official, because this does not sit well with me as well as a lot of people. It's really just straight up garbage. And the only other news that I have is I see a lot of good people, a lot of organizations out trying to make sure people have a great Christmas, those that are less fortunate. So I salute all of y'all that's out there, elected officials, the grassroots organizations, all of y'all. Donovan, what's going on, my friend?
Welcome to the Monday edition of the War Zone, the best conversation on the internet, and that's exactly what it is, a conversation to make you think and go, I never thought about that. But let's just do the math on that $600. That's 600 divided by 12, which comes out to 50. So you got a house note, rent, car note, food, gas, medical, insurance, so on. Hey, that vote blue no matter who. This is what you get when you get incumbents that have been in there since you were in grade school. They think $600 should get you through. This is where we're at. It comes out to $50 a month. You guys should be up in arms, talking to these representatives, or even possibly talking about a recall. But let's talk about this before we even get into that. They say the rogue virus that is running through England, okay, the virus that's here in the United States, they say has mutated over 4,000 times. I have a question for you. If the thing has mutated over 4,000 times, how does this vaccine expect to keep up with the mutations? Demetra?
I mean, that is a good question. And hello to everybody. Welcome to the Monday night edition of the War Zone. If you could do us a favor and share so that everybody can get the information and join in on the conversation. And so, yeah, the virus is mutating. It's doing some really strange things. And $600 should be rolling out to people. And, you know, I don't want to sound ungrateful about $600 because it's going to help you do something. But it's like, really? When you hear about all the other countries who have taken care of their people since the beginning of this until the end of it, whatever that is, and you know, these mother effers are in Congress fighting over whether they want to give you as Americans a measly little $600 to do what with. You know, it's like I can imagine needing that $600 and trying to decide, okay, do I pay some of the rent? Do I buy some food? Do I pay that electric bill? And I don't know about you guys, but it's wintertime and the electric bill is not cheap. You know, so it's sad, but you know what's even more sad is that, like Donovan said, people are just like, well, if that's what you're going to give me, then I guess I'll have to take it. We should be tearing this shit up. We should be. Like this, it should be unexpected. They should be afraid. And she'd be afraid to say, here's $600. We tried. We like Nancy Pelosi says, well, we know it's not a lot, but it's significant. So it's like, is it not a lot or is it significant? Because those are oxymorons right there. Like you like just so used to speaking nonsense to where you don't even know what you're speaking. But to the other point is they're getting their money. Some of them almost, well, Nancy's getting $220,000 or something like that a year. That's in it.
Not including all her Wall Street investments. All of these congressmen are involved in the Wall Street
Mitch
business.
McConnell's getting about $200,000. Nobody's taking their, cutting off their money. But again, we take it, we accept it, and then we adapt. So, Gary,
$50 a month, man. In the hood, you got to include the sack note in that. Few of these boys, man, got to buy them a sack, man. These girls need a sack. So that's going to cut at least half of it out. So 600, it ain't working. I think it's disrespectful to the American citizens. And y'all guys need to think about that next time you go to the polls. Well, talking about the polls, man, I've been working on some of my two good friends for months. And, finally, I cracked the code. Today there was a swearing in at City Hall. And today they swore in Tarsha Jackson, newly elected city council member for District B. And I think they swore in so she could resign. And the reason I'm saying that is because, once again, I've located a politician who does not deserve to sit in office. And I don't just pick on Houston. I go everywhere, so anytime you want to pick on somebody from Cali, Donovan, let me know. I'd be glad to just rip them up from like 1,700 miles away. But Tasha, her residency has always been in question. Now, we know the person that she replaced, Jared Davis, he never lived in the district. He said he had an address on Pickfair, but the one that he used to fill out his application was over off of Kentucky Street and the 59 freeway. Well, we figured out that somebody stole his house the day I went over there. It was missing. There wasn't no house on the address what he gave us. There was a discarded mattress. So I'm pretty sure that somebody came through and stole his house. And I'm still trying to locate that house because I wouldn't want Jerry and his people outside for Christmas and not be able to have a verified address so that they could get their $600 too. Well, anyway, Tasha, who initially filled out an application to run for an at-large position for city council, mysteriously one day decided that she would drop out of that race over there in the at-large position where Sally Alcorn, who ended up winning, was very, very strong. Well, according to what I understand, she didn't feel she had the muscle to beat Alcorn. So she drops out of that race before it starts, and she ends up in the District B race. The problem is, in order to run in the District B race, you had to be a resident of District B. Ms. Jackson has, claimed for months and months and forever that she was a resident of District B. Well, Ms. Jackson, I don't think that you're a resident of District B. And matter of fact, I don't have to think because I ain't finna allegedly say nothing. I know that you're not a resident of District B. Now, I want to show y'all something, and then we can go from there. I want to show you the actual law that pertains to living in an annexed district. When you live in an annex, that's like right outside the lines, kind of unincorporated area. Well, you actually don't have the right to run for office or actually sit in a seat in a municipality. So, rather than continuously say it my way, I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to read the actual law. Let's read the law. Bear with me for a second. Let's go to B. A resident of an area annexed for limited purposes is not eligible to be a candidate for or to be elected to a municipal office. Now, has that happened before? Yes, it did with Michelle Bonton. She lived in an annexed area. They told her that she could not run. Has it happened before that? 4 years prior, it happened to Tahir Charles, a good friend of mine. He was going to run for District D, and he had to drop out because he lived in an annexed area. So how does somebody skirt around the rules again from the Democratic side in Harris County and still are allowed to be on the ballot, win the race, and everybody and their mama in power, including the city attorney and the city secretary, knows that this woman does not live in the district? I'll stop right there and give it to Donovan, and then we'll come back and I'll show you some more stuff.
Right, exactly. Well, yeah, I'm just going to go from the resident side and the voter side. Now, whenever these bootlicks start saying, I'm going to run for office, the first thing you guys should be doing is vetting the candidate. How do you know this person wasn't a convicted bank robber? You have to start vetting the candidate. Oh, she black and she doing black sister magic. They love playing on the symbolism of how you make you feel good, because it's a distraction so you don't look at their finances. Even if it's the incumbent, you should be checking the incumbency and checking where he or she is getting their money, who has donated to them. And that's going to tell you pretty much, how they feel and, and who they represent. So all of you people, and I put it in the comments, and Terrence was exactly dead on. How the hell are you guys mad about $600? How are you mad about $600? That's what you voted for. The people that you voted for said that $600 for the next 12 months is enough for you, while they still collect their checks and still do what they got to do. Any other country would be in the streets. That's why we keep laughing at France every time those people just, block the roads and stuff like that. But however, every time they do that, the government moves. Just like when George Floyd got murdered. When we got into the streets, look how fast the legislation and everything was moved to do something. But no, we're not going to do that. We'll just let it ride. I'm good. I ain't worried about $600. I'll take it. Okay, go ahead and take it.
I tell you this, Miss Tarsha Jackson. The thing is I like to stand on the actual evidence. I like to stand on the evidence. So I know that we got representatives from City Hall watching tonight. We got people from the city attorney's office watching tonight. So I tell you what we can do without ever showing. It doesn't matter because I got your tax record, so it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to have to explain this because that's what it is. Let's go over here for a second. And I want you to look at how nice your house look. That is your house. The house that you pay taxes to. That is the home that you pay taxes to. Well, how do you know, Mr. Monroe, that that's the address that she pays taxes to? If you give me just a second, then I'll show you exactly how I know. Let's look at this map first of all. You see this map right here? And right where I'm pointing at, that's where your home is. So what we'll do is we'll decrease this map, and now we'll look at the Sam Houston Tollway. Now I'm kind of confused because one of these days, Demetri and Donovan, I'm gonna have Alzheimer's. But you see where that little red dot is? That's close to a city, and I think you're gonna remember me saying this. Spring, Texas. Tarsha, I told you lived in Spring. You're right outside of the area that you need to be in order to be able to do what you need to do. So I'm going to take this down, and I need for somebody out there in the world that's watching us to explain to me, how is this woman living there? And yet at the same time, she is now sitting on city council. So if you give me a second, I want to show you something else. I want to show you something else, and let's go in. And now we're going to share the screen again. Okay, let me make sure I got it. And let's go here. This is your tax information. I'm going to blow it up for you. Now, I want you to see the address on the street, 922 Sawgrass Ridge. So explain to us, Tarsha, how you paying taxes outside of the city limits in an annexed area, but yet you represent District B. As much as some people may not like Cynthia Bailey for whatever the reasons, I believe people deserve second chances. She lives in the district that she wanted to represent. Tarsha, you've never lived in that district. You've always lived out there. Now, don't make me bust your ass and prove that Top actually bought you the house out there. Top Texas Organizing Project. Any one of y'all want to take me to court, come on with it. I'd be glad to straighten your ass out in a heartbeat. Because it took some time, but I got you. I got you. So now I need everybody in District B to have a problem with this. Because what's being done to you is called taxation with no representation. You have no representation, legitimate representation right now. You've not had it for the last 8 years because your other city council member for 8 years never lived in your district either. So my question is, how is all of this stuff getting past the Harris County Democratic Party? All of these forms are being notarized by, notaries with state licenses, and nobody seems to catch this. Where is the city secretary who's supposed to validate this stuff? And we are allowing this to go on. Is it true? Now I'm gonna say this here because not Dimitri and Donovan. Is it true that you suckers in power want certain people to sit in them positions so you can play your money games? Why is it so important for her to sit in that seat? Because you know what you're doing. Don't make me dig off into your business from Harvey, Mr. Commissioner Top, and expose what you did with the actual grant money. That's a whole nother show. So my question is how long is she supposed to sit in that seat? Knowing, and we all know now, that she does not live in that district.
Yeah, so Larry says, I'm lost. Does she own the house and stay somewhere else? So yeah, that's what it sounds like. She owns a house outside of the district and she holds the seat in the district that she does not live in. And, you're supposed to live in the district that you're representing. So yeah, she doesn't live there for a lack of better word.
And I'm sorry to cut you off, and regardless if she's in the house and she's somewhere else, even that house is not where it's supposed to be for her to occupy the seat.
Right. So yeah, so she's not supposed, from what it sounds like, she's not supposed to have the position that she has. But does anybody answer as to why it's coming out now after she got sworn in? Like, why now?
Because I waited. I want you to be sworn in so you can resign. And honestly, Dimitri, what that means, and I know it's going to put a smile on your face, I'm a petty motherfucker. I like starting good trouble. I'm petty. I let you get sworn in so you could resign. That's why. But I mean, it took a minute to find it, but in the last few days, I was able to secure what I needed. So this is what I wanted to know. And all them down there. Well, Mr. Monroe, where you get the information from? I infiltrated your city hall. Somebody in there don't like some of y'all. And they gonna give me all the ammo I need to load my clip up to come get you suckers. Don't y'all wish I was still just involved with education? Tarsha, I know you over there. You're a nice looking lady. But you know, when you got to deal with 5 Star, I'm gonna have you shaking like a stripper at $2 Tuesday.
You know, the funny thing about this is I do the exact same stuff here in California. I don't just complain and argue with folks. I bring documents and I drop documents. Now, Demetra, when I ran for city council here in California, you were supposed to sit down with the city clerk, secretary, and she's going to explain all the rules to you so that you don't, do a crime. Because some of the stuff that you're signing is a crime, things that you're getting involved in, your finances, your taxes, all of this is explained to you. Now, the question that you guys need to be asking yourself right there, with all of that stuff that this lady I know was briefed, especially by the clerk, but probably also by her Democratic operatives and people that want her to run. Also, in the back of your mind, you guys need to think about this. Why is it that she needs to be in this seat? That is the main question. Let's keep that in the back of your mind. There's a reason, knowing what she knew, that she went ahead with this anyway. But here's the deal. So you got all this legal ramifications and stuff. The question is, why didn't the city clerk, being the last gate, not, because you got to turn all this stuff back into the city clerk and then it goes to the attorneys and all that other stuff and it gets vetted. How did all of that paperwork at the end of the whole process get past the city clerk and everybody in City Hall? So that means they've got some operatives in City Hall that's on the payroll too. So that's the question you guys got to ask yourself, because here in my City Hall, I got people that drop me documents. I don't even know who they are. They drop me documents right in my front door, and then I take it from there. However, that's the question you need to ask yourself.
Well, I'm gonna say this here because I like being in the water. I want y'all to just kind of stay a little neutral. It's bigger than City Hall. County Commissioner Rodney Ellis was one of her chief financial donors. And during the election, Mr. Ellis went as far as doing robocalls for her. You know, they sending them robocalls out to the voters, and the county commissioner going to bat for her. So I say look at her campaign finance report and see who she took money from, and that'll tell you everything you need to know. Now, I know some of y'all are mad that I'm saying this, and I'm not talking about regular people. I'm talking about you political suckers. You're mad because I'm saying this, but it is what it is. You need her in that position, and you need her in there for several reasons. Well, one of the chief reasons is she's a hell of a grant writer. She knows how to get millions and millions of dollars writing grants. Yeah, he kind of used justice reform as a way of saying that you've been out there doing what you do. And I get it. Maybe that's the way it started off, but that ain't the way it ended. I always say, you're going to find out the character of a man when you put him in a room full of money. So the thing is this here. I know, Tarsha, you got gangster tendencies. I know you hood all day. This ain't the dude to be hood with. Eat this soup and go on up in there and resign your position. Because if you don't resign your position, then I'm gonna file a necessary paperwork to open up an internal investigation on you, and you're gonna resign when it's done anyway. And here's my thing, because you know I'm a little cocky. I like to put the chip on my shoulder, Demetra. Let me put the chip on my shoulder. And when I file the paperwork, what you gonna do about it? Nothing. Nothing. District B needs somebody homegrown. You kept her in the race, but you kicked Willie Dennis out. You say he had a record. What the hell? He had a record. Ain't somebody just ran with a record? But you kicked Willie Dennis out. Well, who is Willie Dennis? Y'all know Willie Dennis. And his professional name is Willie D from the Ghetto Boys. Well, I guess he was a little bit too ghetto for some of y'all, but he ain't too ghetto for us. So the bottom line is, what you gonna do about it, little mama? Hopefully you can straighten out your skirt, make sure you got the pleats in there the right way. But you finna get your ass up out of that seat.
I was just looking at the question over here, and Donovan, I saw you addressed it. Andre, how you doing, Andre? You say, what if that's a rental home? The thing people don't know, a lot of stuff is public record. Negroes need to read. So, Donovan, you want to speak to that?
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. When you run for office, your primary residence, not your rental property, is where you have to live. Because if not, you're going to have people that live other places making decisions on your city that they don't actually live in. So that would be like Donald Trump living in New York or Florida. He has a bunch of properties here in Houston, and then he becomes mayor, or he's on the city council and starts buying other city council seats. Next thing you know, you got toxic nuclear reactors all in Houston where you guys live, but he actually doesn't live there. So as a matter of fact, all city municipalities that I'm aware of, you have your primary residence to run for office. You have to live in that city. Another good example. Remember when John McCain ran for president? John McCain was actually born in Panama on a military base, but because he was naturalized citizen, that was the exemption for him. So to be president, you got to be born in the United States. That's just how it is. You got to be a resident of where you're at. That's why it's very important to do that. And it's, people need to vet this stuff.
My good friend Larry Mayo says, why not tag her so she can explain? She can explain on her way out the door. What needs to be explained is, how did all this fictitious paperwork get notarized? How did all this fictitious paperwork get past the city secretary? How did all this fictitious paperwork get past the city attorney? Now, I know that people want to say maybe she had multiple residents, not on the salary that she makes. Not on the salary that she makes. Maybe she had multiple residents and she paid taxes at multiple residents, not on the salary she makes. Look here, baby. You need that 600 just like the rest of us. You don't make that kind of money to have multiple residents. You don't have a portfolio that has multiple properties in it. So if you look at the bottom of that document and you can see what it says, Texas law prohibits us from displaying residential photographs, but I already got that. You see what I'm saying? Indicating the age of the property owner. Property owner. That is your property. So what I recommend, you looked nice today on the news and on Facebook. Wear that same green dress when you get your shit to get up out of City Hall. And I called today, but y'all ain't got a city council meeting until the 4th. So guess who the first man on the docket on the 4th? Hopefully your ass gone before the 4th of January. Because I ain't going to ease up. Now, I don't like crooked politicians, man. I don't like crooked politicians. But more importantly, you people that's allowing this to happen, you're playing with our democracy. You are playing with our democracy. You are picking and choosing who our representatives should be. And that's a sad case because, good people sometimes don't have a lot of money to run for office. They're emptying their 401ks. They're emptying their savings account. And you motherfuckers already got the deck stacked. Say, man, y'all help her get in there, help her get her ass out.
Well, who's going to make her leave?
They call him the 5-star general.
It says like Jerry Davis, is that his name? Jerry Davis, he was in there in the same situation. Did he resign?
No, 5-star wasn't in the game, like talking about.
Okay, so
honestly, I was over in the education arena. But I told him the night I came over to politics, this shit ain't gonna never be the same.
So they know by now. I mean, let's just pretend they didn't know, right? Let's pretend they didn't know she is at the wrong address. Now they know. Why don't they just say, hey, you know what? you don't live over here, you have to resign. Like, what would stop them from doing that?
Well, you know, that it's called ego. It's called ego. They feel, let me tell y'all politicians something, man, so that you can get a clear understanding. Y'all been getting away with violating city law, state law, and federal law forever. You've been getting away with it. And because nobody's ever came and got y'all, or ever jammed you up in the manner that you need to be jammed up, you feel you can keep getting away with it. Now, the Houston Independent School District would tell you one thing about old 5-star Demetri. He ain't gonna let it go. I ain't gonna let it go. And I'm just saying, I'm gonna be smoking my victory cigarette the day you pack your stuff to leave. And I'm gonna bring that old little smoking barbecue pit downtown. I love doing this part, Donovan. Put it right there on the sidewalk, city property. Cock my chair back I bought from Buckets, and I'm gonna eat me some goddamn hot dogs as you packing up your U-Haul. Clown.
You know, you know, for those of you guys that have never ran for office, it is a very interesting thing. And Demetri was there when I got sworn in, and they're telling you how serious this stuff is and what you got to do. I mean, you got to give financial statements. You can't get money under the table. You got to account for every dime. I mean, it's incredible. But here's the thing. In politics, city council meetings, there's all kinds of rules. And I want Demetri to tell you guys about a rule of these pastors that came down to my city council meeting and was caping for a project, the $4 billion project I keep telling you guys about that hasn't been built yet because I keep fucking them up. And what happened to them once I used technology and dropped the dime with the IRS.
Oh yeah, you know, you most definitely handled business there. But I mean, I don't know. It's like you said, they're playing with our democracy. But you know, who's really gonna check them? Like, to me, these politicians should be in fear of doing it in the first place. And they're not. Like, where is the shame of just flat out lying? Flat out lying. You know you don't live in the district and you're, you know, spending all this money to defeat somebody who does. So it does make you wonder, what's your angle? What are you doing all of this chicanery for? Like, what is this all about? You know, you don't, it doesn't sound, I don't know her or know of her, but it doesn't sound like you're in there to do good if you would lie about you living over there. Like, why not run where you live? I mean, if you really, you know, aspire to be in politics, why not run for the district that you truly live in, you know? But like I said, these politicians, they're not afraid of constituents getting mad or any of that. And they are able to do a lot of stuff they're doing because the constituents are apathetic. It's like, I could have had a V8, like, you know, what's coming on TV today? You know, they like, a lot of people just don't care, especially at a local level, state level. People don't really turn out for those elections like they do the national election. And these are the elections that really matter the most. Like, she's making decisions for people she doesn't live in the same district with. I mean, if what you're saying is true, you know, she doesn't live there. She's making decisions for people that she shouldn't be making decisions for. But are those people going to be mad enough to say, hey, we, you know, voted for the wrong person? We would have voted for you if you actually lived over here, but that you don't. We don't want you. Like, who is going to get mad about it other than you, Gary? Who's going to get mad? Who's going to go to City Hall and say, this lady stole the seat because that's what she did? It's theft. Who's going to get mad? And like Donovan said, when you go and you certify your paperwork, you got to swear to that and say that this is true. This information is true and correct. And so unless things are done differently, you know, to me, it sounds like there's some laws broken if you swore that all the information is correct and it was not. So that also says that there's other people in higher positions that are okay with her stealing a position that does not belong to her. It's a fact. I don't know if it's a fact, but if what you're telling me that she doesn't live there, it's factual that she stole the seat. If she does not live in the district, it's theft.
Well, guess what? Remember that movie where that boy said, I'm gonna drop a dime on you. I'm finna drop a dime on y'all. Because them documents, I think when you lie on them documents, that may become a federal offense. And I know where the FBI office is located off of 290. It's the big turquoise building. And when you park in the little driveway, you got to go through the gate where they search you. They make you put your stuff in the locker. Your phone got to go in the locker. It can't go in the building. And then you got to walk up some stairs, and then you walk up some more stairs to the right, and then you make that left, and you're in the building, and you see the picture of the president of the United States. Don't fuck with me, because I'm finna drop a dime on the highest level. And when I drop that dime, I'm gonna drop it on the candidate, the campaign manager, the city attorney, and the city secretary. I'm gonna drop a dime on y'all. Now, what you gonna do about it? See, D, let me tell you something. I've been in this old war down here for almost 10 years. And that's why I'm a 5-star general. Because I got an army, for real. I got an army. And I'm a couple of them sitting here right now, commenting on the page. People don't even know who they is. My goons got goons, man. But I love when I go to that building. And every time I go, D, I'm not a real big picture taker. I always take a picture in front of the sign that say, Federal Bureau of Investigations. So unless you want to be, which I know she in her 40s, you wouldn't be Diamond from the Players Club. Unless you want to be Tricks and shaking your ass for no money, resign your position immediately. Because I am your dollar bill, and you know the rules of the stripping game, partner.
I will say this too, like for Donovan, when he found out there was some, nonsense going on, he was at that city hall. And I went with him on a few occasions, and they were like, what now? But the point that I'm making is he didn't let up. He didn't say, well, I found out something, I'm just going to go about my merry old life. He was like, I'm here. I need the documents. I've requested a fire. I need the stuff. I need all of that. I mean, I sat with him when we sat with the city manager. What was it? The city attorney. When we looked at their books to see their taxes and all of that.
Yeah, they're spending the money, all of that. I mean, I gave him hell. Show me everything. Because guess what? I'm the taxpayer.
But how many people would do that? How many people would, go down to City Hall, even if it's just you, or you take a friend with you and say, you know what? This is some BS. I need to speak to whoever's in charge of making sure she resigns, because she does not live in this district. Like every day, take somebody with you until they say, okay, and you cause a lot of commotion. You let these people know we do not like what is going on. You cannot steal a position from us. You don't represent us, and whatever reason you are in here, go and get elected in your district and do whatever you need to do over there. But we will not stand for you to do that. Like, she needs to be I'm not saying threatening her physically, but she should be very afraid to sit her ass on the dais, knowing that she stole something that does not belong to her. People should go down there every day, knock on the door or whatever. I need to speak to Ms. Jackson, and ask her when she's leaving.
Yeah, Demetra, do you remember when the election cycle was happening? How many recalls did Moreno Valley have within a 4 or 5 year period? I believe we had like 4 to 7 recalls. Just people we're just recalling them left and right. The mayor got recalled, city council members got recalled. I mean, we were just having it, and we're still battling these issues with this developer who has all this big money to this very day.
Well, it's team versus team. And a lot of times when you battling these billion-dollar bullies, that's what I call them. The school districts, the city, the county, they billion-dollar bullies. They like to string stuff along in a court of law. They like to wait, but see here, they like to try to wait you out. But see, when you ain't got nothing but time on your hand, everything you just said somebody need to do, D, that's what I do. But see, when I get tired of talking to the city, I ain't finna keep talking to y'all. We're gonna have one conversation. And then I'm gonna go where I need to go. And contrary to popular opinion, they don't mind hanging a black politician on the federal side. Now, if I deal with this on the city side, let me tell you how they're gonna pan out. The city gonna fuck around and play around forever. If we end up in a court of law, all the judges bought and paid for. That's how I feel. Y'all ain't gonna do nothing about it because these your friends. So I don't even want to give you the headache of having to deal with old 5-star. So I'm gonna go over your head. I'm gonna go over your head. Those little simple documents where you signed your name, a simple signature on a federal document can give you major problems. So when I started this off, I said it's your team, it's team versus team. So that means, and I'm gonna talk directly to you, homeboy, Mr. Commissioner, you need to keep them 4 attorneys that you got on retainers at bay. They got some work they gonna have to do in a few, so you deal with that. You don't want to fuck around with me. I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't want to fuck around with me. Because I know you got a busload of money. I'm going to make you spend a busload of money. I like making motherfuckers spend money. When you cost these billion-dollar corporations some money, I remember I cost HISD about $41 million. You want to play with me? I don't care. I ain't got nothing to lose. So don't have your people calling me. Don't have your people trying to sick your little sexy motherfucking tramps on me. I don't want it. I'll go in the corner and jack off. I don't need no pussy. I don't want your money. I want your soul. And you know why I want your soul? Because of what you've been doing to my community. I want your soul, and I know one thing. In order to get it, and it's a rule I have with me, y'all, too. Don't be mad when I say it. I will destroy me to destroy you. I don't have a problem doing it. So the only thing I can say is resign your position immediately. If not, all of y'all gonna have a problem the next time you have sex. Because when you having sex and you gonna be smashing it, you gonna be just smashing it. And all of a sudden the image of this little fat black motherfucker gonna pop up in your head. And you ain't gonna get that nut.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just posted in the comments how the 5-star and I have the same exact philosophy. I have nothing to lose. When you're on the bottom, the only way to go is up. So they don't want to sue me because that opens up discovery. All of my allegations is now open to discovery. So you got to use tact and do all these things, but you could be one person, and you can get all kinds of shit done. But I'll tell you guys this, if you guys ever visit my city and you go to City Hall and you say, hey, I'm looking for this little small black guy, they're going to roll their eyes at you and they're going to say, Donovan, yeah, he was here last week or whatever. I'm in there. I request FIAs on the dumbest shit. I want their salary. I want the FIA on how many cars are built. I do that to keep the city clerk busy. Because when she's busy doing other bullshit, she ain't got time to put her little cookie hands into the corruption. So, I mean, stuff like this is real. And you guys should be concerned because the person that controls my city right now isn't really the developer. The developer, we found out, is a front man. He's just the front man. The person that controls my city are 2 brothers named Trump out of Florida. And they're not related to Donald. They make the decisions of what happens in my city because they bought it and they've owned it. But see, that's the problem. They don't live here, but they are the ones making the decisions. And they had hoped that nobody would fight them. And up until this day, I'm costing them money every day. Lawsuits against this $4 billion project is being thrown up all the time. And it's just a matter of time for when they're going to say, to hell with it. These people are, they're fighting for their community. You need to fight for your community, because you know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to make a decision. She's going to be long gone on to state assembly or Congress or wherever she's going to go. And you're going to be living in a city that's polluted or full of crap or whatever the thing is. And you're going to be the one stuck there. You got to fight for your community, fight for your kids, fight for your community, period.
Well, let me ask you a question, D. Remember months ago when little Brittany Morris ran for office for judge and she dog walked the incumbent, and all of a sudden her residency came into to play. And all of a sudden, this woman in court fighting for her life after she had already won the election. What makes Brittany different from somebody like Tarsha? Brittany actually lived where she needed to live, and she owned a separate property. You feel what I'm saying? But Tarsha does not live there, does not own a separate property. And and not just them, but what makes these people so different when you go after one person? You go after the clean one, but you let the dirty one make it. Like you said earlier, what's the real reason you want them in office?
Well, Brittany probably wasn't in, she probably wasn't in on the fix. There's probably nothing to gain from her, again, this is all allegations, I want to put that out there. But, perhaps Tarsha is in on the fix. A lot of times politicians get elected because they're nothing more than a rubber stamp. They're going to say, yes, okay, sure. To, like Donovan said, to developers and a whole host of people who have, other interests outside of really helping everybody else. It's a money grab for everybody else. When Donovan first got into running for city council, we spoke to a lady who was very influential in the neighborhood, in politics around there. And she says people get into politics for a few reasons: power, prestige, and money. And some people actually want to help people, but those first three things are what really drives people. And you think about it, a lot of politicians, when they first go into office, they got to drive the Pinto up, to swear in. And by the time they leave, they getting driven off the property in their, in their limousine, or I don't know if limousines are fashionable anymore, but they have a driver. So they leave with a bag full of money. And so it just tells you how important those positions are. And so for a lot of people like developers and, people who are calling the shots, they need rubber stamps in there to do their bidding. Fuck those people. I mean, excuse my French, but that's their attitude. F those people. We need to get this built. We need to get that done. We need to get these bonds for the schools, but we really gonna finagle the money and, and do other stuff with it, but because the people won't even care. They won't even ask where the money went. Just like they won't even rock the boat with the wrong candidate not even a wrong candidate, because she purposely, if what you're saying is true, she purposely did what she did to get that seat. So, who's really going to care? And that's why they get away with it.
And it's like you said, 5-star. When do they host the city council meetings? Same thing here in my city at 5 o'clock. Now, if you're from California, it takes you 2 hours just to leave LA, because a lot of everybody commutes. So you're not going to make the city council meeting.
5 o'clock at the school board meeting. It's 2 o'clock for a city council meeting.
Yeah, see, so it's a scheduling thing. They don't want you to make the meeting. Wouldn't it make sense to say, hey, let's do this on a Saturday morning, or let's do this on a Saturday afternoon? No, they don't want you guys to be a part of the process. But like I said before, a couple days ago, that is no excuse for you not to know what's going on in your city. You know why? You have public access. You have the internet. All these things. You guys got smartphones. You could be watching all this stuff and keeping abreast of what's going on. But guess what? You guys are too busy waiting on that $600 to worry about what's going on in your city and how to go. Like right now, here's a prime example. You don't need the federal government or the CDC to put a moratorium on rent control and all that other stuff. You, the people, control that in your own city. Where's your city council members that are voting on that? You could put it on the agenda. But see, that's what I'm saying. They don't want you to participate in the very government that you guys are supposed to be about.
And it's like, we can't hear you, Gary.
I wanted to put a comment of slow up because I remember something that was said yesterday about a certain group being affiliated with city officials. Now, you know what? I was trying to keep this simple, but I'm going to go on and just make it real complex for you. And I want you to listen to me real closely. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Houston. I see one of my urban brothers in the building, my man Art Smith, who's a lifelong resident of Fifth Ward, Texas, and he does his own set of videos and podcasts called Fifth Ward Live. So if I need somebody to go to war with me down there in City Hall in reference to this, my man gonna lock and load, and we gonna go do what we do. But I want to break this down to you. The white politicians on their side of town, they ain't bothering us. They ain't bothering us. Let's get something straight. In the city of Houston, you got a bunch of corruptness. You got a bunch of gay shit running rampant in politics. You got a bunch of dick in the booty motherfuckers around here playing these games, man. They playing these games. So the side of town I'm talking about, District B, you got food deserts. You got a high crime rate. You got gentrification going through the roof. You feel what I'm saying? Poor people dealing with a cancer cluster ain't nobody addressed yet. So are we supposed to be quiet? Or are we supposed to fight the battle? Now, some of y'all in here with all these comments telling people what they need to do. You don't do jack shit but show up on this show and give your expertise. You don't even do the shit that you say that you trying to tell us to do. So my thing is I'm gonna get the same way I got on for them kids in District B in front of Phyllis Wheatley High School, the arch enemy of my old high school, Yates. I didn't give a damn because they needed help. And they need help right now. It's taxation without representation. You taxing the hell out of them, but they don't have clear-cut representation. My man Terrence Wolford in the building, man. These are people that live in that district that can tell you that when I say the crime rate is 54% higher in Northeast Houston than it is across the country, it is what it is. And if you don't believe that, it's dark right now. Take your ass for a ride down Homestead and talk about pumping some gas in your damn car. So bottom line is, it's time out for all the BS. Politicians, you need to get your shit straight and understand, if you want to play this game, I'm going to send you some goddamn company, partner.
See, and here's the thing too. If nothing is done to this person or any politician that breaks the rules, what's the point of having rules? Then it's a free-for-all. We're just in the wild, wild west. Just do what you want to do. Everybody just go out there. By sanctioning this person, sanctioning or doing whatever you got to do to this person, sets, and I'm talking about sanction them, sets a precedent to anybody else that tries it. That's why it's important.
The rules and the policies seem to only apply to the good people that want to affect change. That's when you start indicting them. That's when you start trying to drag them. All the shit that you do when somebody comes through the door that is genuine and wants to affect change. There ain't no way in hell that these city officials gonna tell me they didn't know this woman lived in Spring. Ain't no way in hell that the pastors that endorsed her are gonna tell me that they didn't know this woman lived in Spring, Texas. It ain't no way in hell. She got to go. You ain't got to leave, but you finna get the hell up out of City Hall.
And you know, the crazy part too, Gary, about what you said is the good people who are really trying to do something, and help people, they get indicted and dragged and all of that, and people don't stand up for them. They don't say, you know what, we gonna ride with you. You're not gonna do this walk alone. We here with you. We don't do that. We allow those people to hang out to dry. And in some cases, we help demonize them and destroy them. And then on the other hand, we'll say, well, nothing's changing. Look at what they're doing in our city. All these politicians are corrupt. But when the people who really want to do something come along and they get in a little bit of hot water or whatever the case is, and then you just walk away from them. So at some point in time, you have to just make a decision and say, what do I really want? And what am I willing to do to help get it? Am I willing to, elect people who are really about change and helping people? Am I about standing behind people who have put their whole necks on the line for me? Am I gonna stand by those people, or am I just gonna complain? Because see, I'm one of those people. Complaining is like nails to a chalkboard to me. I hate it. Anybody who knows me knows don't ring my phone. Please don't ring my phone more than once with the same old story. Don't keep calling me talking about, oh, it is dirty, because then I'm not gonna answer the phone unless you change your story. Like all this complaining with no action, I can't do it. I can't, call Miss Cleo. So I don't know. I don't know if she's still here, but somebody who can really just sit there and listen. I can't do it. So stop complaining if you're not going to do something about it. If you guys aren't going to help, and I'm not saying y'all per se, but if people aren't going to help Gary get her out of there, then take it. Take whatever you get. Take your cities being dilapidated or your neighborhoods being dilapidated and garbage and crime and take it. Love it. Like go outside and take deep breaths of it. Like, because you're not going to do anything about it. I mean, honestly, like just tap out.
My man Art Smith say all the way from Fifth Ward, Texas. I salute that. That means he ready to rock and roll. So Kenitra makes a good point. She say, I call it the Medgar Evers effect. Anyone of color that is promoting change and making a difference, they will kill or destroy. Man, that's one of the realest comments I ever heard. Because all I've ever do is try to help kids in the school district. And you tried to destroy me. Because I wanted to help African American kids that were being left behind. And you tried to destroy me. So I had to make a decision. Either I stand in this water and deal with what they're going to shoot at me, or either I walk away like a punk with my tail between my legs. Well, I think by now, 8 years later, y'all done figured out my mama didn't raise no punk. And I'm going to stand and I'm going to fight and I'm going to do whatever I need to do. Now, I'm willing to walk in the city hall and have a sensible conversation with the city attorney. We can do it virtually. We can do it if I can walk in. No need to be afraid. I just want what's right to be done. I want to be a candidate. I've been a candidate. I know the deck was stacked against me. But I learned something from Little League football. I learned that I was a hell of a coach. One of the best to ever do it. God bless me. All them years I got on with them kids. But my first few years, I couldn't figure out why all the other teams was just beating the hell out of my kids. I knew I trained them the right way. And then I figured out that y'all were jacking up the birth certificates. You had kids playing at older ages. So rather than bitch and complain, I stacked the deck too. And when I stacked the deck, I ran the goddamn park. And I ran it so well that I could send the defending national champions from New England an email before the season started and tell you I'll meet you under the lights in December, and it's early August. See, because when you even the playing field, now we gonna find out if the cream gonna rise to the top. Now we gonna find out if the voters really want the person that they put in office, or did you just stack the deck so that they could get in? You people don't have a soul with the stuff that you're doing. When we look at our communities and where they are 30 years later, some of them still look the same. The only time you fix the potholes in the streets is normally during election time. You don't do anything for us. You don't do anything for us. And then you want us to sit here and make you this world famous person. Well, when you come around, we running to take pictures with you. Fuck you and your camera. I want my community fixed. I want all communities fixed. And the first thing we got to do is time to exterminate some of these city, state, federal offices with these rogue ass people that are representing us. Now, if you in there and you making mistakes, I can live with that. At least you're honest. You just fucked up. You don't know what you're doing. But when you go in there and you don't do anything to help our community, and then you come back 4 years later parading around like you've done something, come on, man, that's a slap in the face of the real soldiers that's out there working, man. You know, I don't really have a personal issue with the mayor, but from a business standpoint, you don't rock with the black community, brother. You make sure everybody else is taken care of. The LGBT community is your first priority. And then the white folk come in, then the Asians. But then you got the nerve when it's campaign time to put your campaign, one of your campaign offices in the middle of our neighborhood. And you know what was crazy, D? When he put it there, in less than 6 days, it was 8 murders.
That's crazy. But you know what, though? You said something, you know, that when it's election time, the politicians go into the neighborhoods and people take pictures with them and stuff. I think if we stop treating our politicians like celebrities and treat them like the servants they are, because they're servants. And I'm not saying it to be degrading. They're servants. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to go and serve the community, be of service. But we flipped it around and turned these people into deities, into celebrities. And, oh my God, they're such and such. You know, you throw your spanks all on the damn, you know, stage and all of that. You know, it's like they're servants. You're not supposed to worship them. They're supposed to say to you, hello, Miss Brown. Thank you for voting for me. I'm here to be of service to you. What is it that I can do for you? What are your concerns? And actually go do it. Don't just do lip service. Actually go do it. So stop worshiping these politicians. They are not gods. They're not celebrities. They are servants. The only thing that should come out of their mouth is, Motisa, would you like 1 or 2 lumps of sugar? That's their job.
We have to figure out who's in charge, who works for who. The politicians work for us. They work for us. And when I see my employees, I want to know if you've done your job. That's the only thing I want to know. And if you've not done your job, I'm going to do everything in my power to terminate you. And I truly believe in my heart, you said it far better than me. You are not a celebrity. You are not a superstar. You are a public servant. That's what you are. So I look back and I look at some of the races and different people. You know, I wonder why it took so long for Aisha to end up in an elected office. I wonder why, you know, people like Travis McGee is not sitting in an elected office. Larry McKenzie, Renee Jefferson Smith. I'm wondering why a lot of these people are not sitting in elected office, because they are ethical. They're ethical. They have character. They have integrity. And the games that are being played, that's not what y'all want, because that's not the program that y'all own. Y'all own, let's make all the money and fuck these niggas. That's the program you own. That's the program you own. So, you know I won't get much political support, you know, when it come time for the school system. But I think at this moment, you don't have a choice but to support me, because your whole goddamn school system is about to implode. It's going to be gone because you put the trust of your school system in the hand of your oppressor. Why did you trust the oppressor to educate your children? And now you see the ramifications of y'all supporting some of these people. I get it. I'm not the best thing that you could ever want. But at the end of the day, I'm not the dude that run for a position, I lose, that I go bounce to another one as soon as there's another race. I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. No, I only stuck to education because that's my passion. I have no desire to be a city council person. I have no desire to be the mayor, which I think if I was, I'd do a hell of a job. But I know my lane. And the only thing I'm asking you guys to do, just start playing fair. Because if you don't start playing fair, some of you low-hanging fruit from the political level, you're going to end up in a federal goddamn jail cell, man. You're going to end up in a federal jail cell. And will I? Yeah.
Well, here's what I got to say. I don't know if you guys can hear me. It kind of clicked out there. But, you know, before we go and everything like this, Malcolm X said this best. He said, the gas ovens will already be built before you realize they're hot. And you can apply that to anything, especially in politics and what's going on. By the time you realize that they've already robbed the city coffers, so now they have no money to fix the streets. Now they have no money to help the school districts because we sat there and let the fox into and run the hen house. And that's what we got to start doing. We have to start holding these bastards accountable because they are servants. It is not up to you know, when I ran, I did my homework on my opponent. But at the end of the day, you as the citizen are supposed to vet these candidates. What if they're a bank robber? What if they're child molesters? What if they did their time, but you know they came back or whatever? That's what you guys got to start doing. Don't be surprised that they get up there and the next thing you know, $4 million is missing. They've gone, or in my city, what the corrupt city council is doing, they're giving golden parachutes to these people serving 2 years as the city general manager. How can the city general manager make more than the president of the United States? And that's what's happening here. And nobody's holding them accountable. So when our streets are messed up, oh, we have no money in the budget. But you gave this guy $500,000 after he left office for the next 3 years. For the next 3 years, we are indemnified to pay this man. That's what we're talking about. So don't sit there and complain when in the words of that great prophet Donald Trump, your neighborhood looks like a shithole.
Final thoughts, Mr. Demetri.
I hope you guys know that Donovan was being facetious there. So yeah, Ron Terrell, you said something. I mean, I don't disagree with you often, but you said something I actually agree with, and you say it's our fault for how our politicians mess over our neighborhoods and schools because we allow them to. That's it in a nutshell. Like they are only able to do what they're doing because the people let them do it. You let them do it. You vote for oppression, whether it's white or it's black, you vote for it. And then they get in there. They get in there the first term and they completely just foobar the whole position, right? Just mess it up. And then you vote for them again. And then they get in there and then 30 years later, nothing's changed in your neighborhood and you keep allowing it to happen. So at some point in time, voters, constituents, whoever need to say to yourself, it is my fault that my neighborhoods actually look like shit and we don't have the resources we need because we keep putting people or allowing them to stay in there when they've shown us they don't give a damn. So allowing a person to stay in office that doesn't give a damn means that you actually don't give a damn.
Final thoughts, Donovan.
Well, again, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. When you got politicians that have been in office since you were in grade school and they're still there and you expect them to do something from the 1970s in the 21st century, or they don't have any ideas at all, but you keep voting them because you're just comfortable with oppression, like Demetri says, that's insanity. Where are the term limits? The president has a term limit. Where are the term limit for our Congress members? You always got these people, I'm for term limits, and they get in there and they go, oh, well, you know, whatever. Don't get me wrong. If a person does a great job, great. It'll reelect them, whatever. But I do believe everybody needs to be term limited because a 78-year-old person isn't going to change their racism. They aren't going to change the way that they are fundamentally taught to be. That's just how it is. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You just don't change overnight and you just grow with the times. Nobody does that. Fundamentally, you're the person that you're going to be from the time that you leave high school, about 18 to about 24. And that is who you're going to be till the day you die. So the thing is, it's on us. Somebody needs to hold this lady accountable and bring that to the attention of the city staff and to the district attorney, because so those documents, you're in a county election, whatever, city election, that's under the preview of the district attorney. They need to investigate it. There need to be names and people dropped off. Not only that candidate, city clerk, and the people who are supposed to be vetting all of these things.
I see my good friend, State Representative Harold Dutton Jr. just popped in. I want to say congratulations on your win. I look forward to being at the state capitol during the legislative session to speak with you. His office is always open to us. You can go down there, do whatever. And I'm going to speak on a few things, especially on the educational side in front of that committee. He sits on the educational committee. But I will say this, Mr. Dutton, and please deliver a message to State Representative Synfronia Thompson that one, you said from day one you had nothing to do with the missing candidate. When you came on the show, that's been proven. Mr. Dutton has been exonerated in that, and the people that were involved with that, they will face, justice on that level. And I always tell people about the law. According to your Bible, if you don't live by biblical laws, you will be judged by man-made laws. So congratulations, Mr. Dutton, and tell Ms. Thompson that we need senior political people to look into the fact that Tarsha Jackson has been proven she does not live in District B. Therefore, the same buttons that are pushed on anybody else need to be pushed on her. She needs to resign. If they have to do, which I think they would have to do a special election for that, then that's what needs to be done. District B needs representation. It needs representation. And I tell y'all, man, I enjoy y'all every single night. And I'm pretty sure my friends, we had a whole different topic we were going to talk about. But I tell you what, let's try something tomorrow, because I need the politicians and the political people that love politics on here. Let's talk about political internal racism. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how our people, not the white people, not the white politicians, are the ones that's really sticking it to us. Let's talk about it from a local to a state to a federal level. And I think we're going to get to the bottom of something. And I'm going to see if I can invite somebody on here tomorrow that's kind of like an expert in that. And then we can talk about that for real. Hold on a second, y'all, because this thing got a mind of its own some days. So thank y'all. I want to thank y'all for tuning in. We've been here since what, March? I think it was March we've been doing this, and you guys have been faithfully, a part of the family. But I got some new tricks up my sleeve come January, and some of these conversations gonna basically be on pay-per-view. We going to a whole different level, man. And I salute my soldiers over in District B. You're gonna get them phone calls tonight. We gotta get out and we gotta do what we gotta do. And that's all it boils down to. Say, man, another spirited discussion from the best in the business. Remember, we started this podcast. We started this. Say, I want to thank my man Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and the head shit starter in charge, the 5-star general. Say, man, it ain't never personal, it's business. And until tomorrow night, y'all stay safe, stay warm, and look on your bank card for your 600. And hopefully you don't spend it all at the turkey leg hut. Until tomorrow night, man, we're going to holler at you.